By 2030, our world is going to look completely different, all thanks to artificial intelligence. But here's the thing. Nobody can agree on what that future will actually look like, especially for the UK. The predictions are clashing so hard they're describing two totally separate realities. So in this explainer, we're going to dive into this tale of two futures. Is it a tech-fueled utopia or a complete societal collapse?
You can really boil this whole debate down to two powerful, competing ideas. On one side, you have this incredible promise of a future filled with leisure, right? A world where AI does all the boring stuff, and we only have to work a couple of days a week. But on the other side, you've got this stark warning from Goldman Sachs saying hundreds of millions of jobs are on the chopping block. So, which one is it? A renaissance or a reckoning?
Okay, so let's start with the good stuff, the utopian vision. The people who are optimistic about this, well, they argue that AI isn't just going to improve our lives a little bit. They believe it's going to kick off an unprecedented renaissance in prosperity, health, and human potential.
And this isn't just wishful thinking either. It's backed by some truly staggering numbers. For the UK alone, the economic boost from AI development is projected to be as high as £470 billion over the next decade. I mean, that is a huge boost to the economy. But where is all that value actually going to come from?
Well, you'll see the changes in very real ways, especially in healthcare. We're talking about AI that can spot cancers months earlier than human doctors, and robotic surgeons that operate with a precision that's literally superhuman. Can you imagine tiny nanorobots fixing tissue from inside your own bloodstream? Or AI-powered prosthetics that can give sight back to the blind? And look, this might sound like science fiction, but this is the reality being predicted for healthcare by 2030.
This vision goes beyond just our bodies and into the very cities we live in. Picture a city run by a massive, interconnected AI network that manages, well, everything. Traffic jams? A thing of the past, because the system reroutes cars in real time before a jam can even start. The power grid intelligently balances solar and wind, so blackouts are history. It's a cleaner, safer, and way more efficient way to live, all run by algorithms.
And what about education? Oh yeah, the potential there is just as massive. Picture this, every single student gets their own personal AI tutor. It's infinitely patient and it customizes every lesson to their specific needs. This would free up human teachers to do what humans do best, mentorship, fostering creativity, and providing emotional support. What's the end game? A system that could finally make a great education accessible to everyone on the planet, not just the lucky few.
Okay, take a deep breath. Because for every one of those amazing promises, there's a dark, dystopian warning to match. On the other side of this coin, some experts are calling what's coming a white-collar bloodbath.
Let's just start with this number from the World Economic Forum. By 2025, which is right around the corner, they project that 92 million jobs will just disappear. They won't exist anymore, thanks to automation. And we're not talking about a slow, gradual change here. This is a tidal wave, and it's heading straight for the global workforce. And the scariest part? How fast this could all happen. In just a couple of years, AI agents could be doing most of the admin in our offices. Then by 2027, bam, the first artificial general intelligence emerges. That's an AI that can reason just like a human. Before the decade is out, we could have fully driverless taxis and digital clones of ourselves attending Zoom calls. I mean, the speed of this is it's mind-bending.
You know, there's this quote, adapted by one of OpenAI's co-founders, that just perfectly captures the moment. The point is, this isn't optional. You can't just stick your head in the sand and ignore this technology, because it's about to fundamentally change every single part of our society, whether we're ready for it or not.
And that, of course, brings us to the final boss, artificial superintelligence, or ASI. This is an AI that wouldn't just be smarter than you or me, it would be smarter than all of us, combined. And what's really wild is what some are calling the San Francisco consensus among a lot of top people in tech. They think ASI could get here within 6 years. The consequences of that are, well, they're almost impossible to even think about.
All right, so we've talked big picture, global scale. Let's bring it back home. How is all of this going to play out specifically here in the United Kingdom? Well, a lot of the analysis suggests the country is heading for a serious breaking point.
The projections point to Britain basically splitting in two, creating this two-speed economy. You'll have London and the Southeast just booming with AI, finance, and investment money. But then, outside of that bubble, in the North and in Wales, the picture looks grim. Stagnation, crumbling infrastructure, and wages that just aren't going anywhere.
And that growing divide, it pours fuel on an even bigger fire, wealth inequality.
Listen to this because the numbers here are they're wild. Right now, the 50 richest families in Britain own more wealth than the bottom 34 million people combined. The fear is that AI is just going to hit the accelerator on that trend, putting even more wealth and power into the hands of a tiny few.
So what happens when millions of people feel like they're being left behind? Well, the political system starts to fracture. The data suggests that the old Tory versus Labour dynamic, the thing that's defined British politics for a century, could actually be over by 2030. What we might see instead is a massive surge for anti-establishment parties like Reform UK, leading to messy, unstable coalition governments.
All this political chaos, it naturally leads to some really fundamental questions about the UK itself. Many different analyses, including some that use AI models, are predicting another referendum on Scottish independence around 2029, and this time they predict it passes. Think about that. The United Kingdom as we know it could be gone within the decade.
Okay, so we've hit the economy, we've hit politics, but honestly, the biggest changes might be way more personal. They might force us to completely rethink what it even means to be human.
Let's start with our relationships. By 2030, AI companions are expected to be everywhere, capable of really deep conversations and providing emotional support. Now, for some people, like the elderly or those who feel lonely, this could be an absolute lifeline. But here's the twist. Sources predict that, for many, these AI relationships will actually become more fulfilling than relationships with real people, blurring the lines of what human connection even is.
Which brings us to this wild question that was actually posed in the source material. Just how far could this go? If an AI can be your best friend, your mentor, maybe even your partner, will our laws catch up? It sounds totally insane right now, doesn't it? But it might be a serious legal debate by the year 2030.
And the rewiring of our lives doesn't stop with relationships. Brain-computer interfaces are quickly moving out of the lab and into reality. I want you to imagine downloading a new skill, like learning a language, directly into your brain, or communicating with someone else mind to mind, or even creating a digital backup of your memories. This is where we're headed, the literal merging of human minds and artificial intelligence. And all of it, brings us to maybe the biggest, most profound question of all. One inspired by comments from people like Elon Musk. In a world where AI can do our jobs, heal our bodies, and maybe even be our best friend, how do we find our purpose? Seriously, what gives us meaning when we're just not needed in all the old ways we used to be? So at the end of the day, this isn't some movie we're just passively watching unfold. What all the research, all the predictions make crystal clear is that we are standing at a massive crossroads between a genuine techno-utopia and a major societal breakdown. The technology is here, and it's moving faster every day. The real question is no longer what will happen. The question is, which one of these futures are we, you and me, choosing to build, starting right now?